Hello and welcome back to Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, and welcome back to another quick look review. And today I have the brand new, and when was the last time I said this? Probably never. Brand new tool from Hella, E-2C Hawkeye from Grumman. Quite an exciting one. This is such a cool aeroplane, isn't it? So this is just been released, and I got this sent through from Vince at Models for Sale. Big thanks to him for sending that through for me. And what we've got then, a brand new toolkit. It proudly states that there are 199 pieces in the box, and equally proudly that it's a truly European Union product, so expect this to be expensive in America. The box is kind of crappy. It's very flimsy. It's a lid opener, but that's okay because it's made with recycled material. On the back there's a little bit of information about the E2. There's a representation of the included decal sheet, recommended paints, etc. You can download all the instructions if you wish as well. Put that on your tablet. Included artwork again on the side, and a slightly sort of honestly cartoonish little box art. And let's slit the recycled material sticker and see what's actually in here. I haven't looked at this yet. We're going to go on this journey together. Here we go. Lid opener. First thing then to come out of here is an instruction booklet which has the decal sheet inside it. Then we've got, what's this? A little catalogue. That's cute. Oh, door card. Keep out, model building in progress, or come in, let me show you my model kits. Oh goodness. Okay. And then this is new. This is paper. So the kit is packaged like a high-end pair of shoes. With paper instead of plastic to protect the parts, apart from the transparencies, which is probably a good thing. Okay. Get the idea? There's a set of parts there, then paper, and another sprue. The paper's folded over, and we got more. I'm presuming that this is to reduce the use of plastic bags, and I know actually that with the British produced Spitfire 9 kit from Airfix, the big one, they did use some paper wrapping in that for the same reason. But I'll free these sprues from this paper prison over here, and let's have a look at them. Okay then, the bottom one in the box is labelled Sprue B, and quite clearly contains wings and struts and engine parts. The panel line detail is recessed, and it's very finely recessed. It looks very nice indeed. And we've got some sort of perfunctory recessed rivet detail in there as well. There is some very fine raised detail in places, simulating hatches and clips and things. And also some very fine detail, albeit with a little bit of flash, in this intake area here. This looks really beautifully done throughout. The wing panel. On the reverse, where we've got the inside of some doors, just these here, they also feature some really very nice detail. A little bit marred by some ejection pin marks. which will likely be quite tricky to fully clean up. Moving backwards to sprue A, this was the next one. Fuselage halves. Tail planes, fins and centre wing moulding. Again, very, very nicely moulded, really crisp detail. It reminds me of a Revel kit from back when Revel kits were really good. Sort of around about when they did the Focke-Wulf 200 and the Tornadoes and things like that. It's fine, it's crisp, it's beautifully done. And it's good for the scale. They've not overdone the detail. You can see the size there. It's not a very big aircraft, to be fair, the E-2. And clearly you can see already that there is the option to have folded wings here. Moving on, the next biggest set of parts is sprue C, and very, very obviously here is the radome, the big rotating radar dish, and it is quite big. Four inches in this scale across. Also a lot of detail parts. I can see a flight deck tube, we've got wing fold details, instrument panel, undercarriage parts and some kind of bay, and it's all really, really nicely done. I'm going to say the detail is at least adequate for the scale and probably actually pretty good. Wing folds, flight deck, undercarriage parts. Again, the back side of the sprue shows a lot of ejector pins. These undercarriage parts, they're quite prominent actually. Hopefully they're mostly situated where they'll be less visible on the finished model. And then we have two copies of sprue D. Now here we've got two sets of propeller and spinners. So you've got the earlier paddle blade style and the newer swishy props here. Wheels and tyres are supplied as either weighted or unweighted, which is a nice touch. And other than that, there are a lot of small parts. They're very simple. Crew seat and some doors. Again with a nice detail on the inside of these doors, but again slightly spoiled by the presence of those ejector pins. Personally, I think it would be better if manufacturers did the unthinkable and put those ejector pins on the outside of the parts. It would be so much easier to clean them up the majority of the time. Yeah, the propellers are moulded with a square stub, such that when you place them into the spinners it will align the propellers for you. And we've got some really actually very nice engine detail down inside there. It is very well done. Transparencies are presented as a lot of separate windows, which is always a bit worrying. Hopefully they'll fit. The only thing that comes inside its own plastic bag. These are nice, very nice. This is sprue E. So we've got nav lights and position lights, we've got windows, sort of porthole windows, and then we've got the flight deck windows. Very well finished, very good gloss on them. There's a bit of distortion, they're quite thick. Got Some jet action going on over on the airfield. The red arrows in yesterday, that might be them again. Okay, that was the kit parts. They look quite promising, so let's have a look at the instructions. The last Hella kit I built was produced probably in the 80s. I grew up with Hella and Airfix kits. My hometown model shop didn't really stock Matchbox, so I think it's almost a bit regional in the UK. You've got areas where Matchbox kits were readily available, and like mine, areas where they weren't. And weirdly, I would pick up Matchbox kits from the tobacconists, as they used to be called back then, or newsagents. Don't seem to be called that anymore, do they? But the model shop had Hella and Airfix. Anyway, I digress. It's very bright yellow, glossy. Let's get in here. So we've got the history piece again here. Recommended paints, which are Hella paint. I know nothing about these. And here we go. So the instructions are not glossy paper, but they are printed in a semblance of colour. Various different colours. They're very, very clear, very well drawn, easy to follow. You can have the flaps up or down here, there's an option for that. That is some form of electronics bay, the part we looked at on the sprue. You would have to cut the fuselage to be able to see that, should you want to. And very, very quickly indeed, you're into fuselage halves being together, so you've got a little bit of flight deck work, nose undercarriage bay. Fuselages together. This is the centre wing area. And straight away, tailplane and centre wing go onto the fuselage, and you move on to the nacelle and main undercarriage, main landing gear bay construction. And interestingly, we've randomly flipped to landscape mode, which is nice because it fits under the camera better. Main undercarriage. Now we're sticking with landscape mode. The carriage doors, and then the addition of the nacelles to the underside of the wing. If they fit well enough, I would suggest leaving them off until after paint, because it will make painting and decaling, etc. of this area considerably easier if these are not fitted. Those undercarriage doors, crew door area here. Optional pod, tail hook, and the main wing construction. Again with optional flap positioning and a little bit of adjustment of parts if you wish to build it with the wings extended. The addition of the wings, there's some sort of stub spars in here which are going to slot in. It's going to make that a bit easier to align and make it strong enough. We've got air brake detail there, an option of having those extended or not, and of course the folded wings option here. Then the radome, again I would suggest painting the model without that fitted. And the large intake goes on the top of the fuselage. Adding the glazing, a couple of aerials and pitos and things. And finally the propellers. Option of the earlier 4-blade or the more modern 8-bladed swooshy propellers. There is only one marking option provided in the kit, This is an aircraft from VAW 115 Liberty Bell, and it says Sayonara Atsugi 2017. It says down here that the artwork was designed by Fightertown Decals. Some quite Japanese looking symbology here, and some flaming wingtips. Overleaf. Side profiles. So a very nice rising sun motif on the fin there, with a sort of dragonish looking bird creature. Got an America eagle on the inside. And finally, usually at the front, but here we've got it at the back, and it's either photographs of actual sprues or some sort of CAD renditions of the sprue layouts. Back page. Come and check out our social media pages with a link there for the Instagram. Back page, visit our website and our online shop. You can download the instructions if this paper copy doesn't suffice, and you can also shop online now. Very nice little booklet. Last bit to look at then is the decal sheet, and a very colourful decal sheet it is too. Again it mentions Fightertown Decals being responsible for the design work, but there's nothing on here that shows who or where the decals have been printed, and they are very, very thin with beautifully feathered film. It's to the point where you can barely really see where the film ends, even on the sheet. There's a slight lack of crispness about the edges and a slight lack of density about the colours that makes me think these may have been printed by the same people that do Edward decals. I have absolutely no evidence for that other than what they look like on the sheet, but they do have that look about them. There's a good bit of stencil detail included, including propeller tips and propeller logos. Obviously all the colourful main markings. You've got walkways and boot decals if you can't be doing with masking them. All the de-icer boots for the leading edges are included as decals, as indeed is the glare shield for the main windscreen. There is no instrument panel decal, and there are no sort of seat belts or anything like that included as decals either. I did do a little bit of research, shock horror, before I opened the box, and there are in fact aftermarket decals already, because there is a Hasegawa kit from years ago. So there are aftermarket options for colour schemes if this one doesn't float your boat, and indeed you can already get Edward etch and such for this kit. So there we go, a very quick canter through what you get in the box of the brand new Hella E-2C Hawkeye kit. I did not know what to expect, and I have to say I'm quite impressed. It looks very nice in the box. I wonder how it will build. There's lots of little innovative touches. I like the little pocket catalogue. I would have treasured this as a younger person, I can assure you. And where else would you get a do not disturb sign for your modelling den? Nice touches. I quite like the nod towards environmental protection here with the use of recycled materials and less plastic bags. Do be careful if this kit is destined for the stash though, because that's not a very sturdy box. Price on this is around about the £35 mark, so it's not too bad at all. It's about what I would expect for a model of this size, being a brand new tool as well. And it seems to be widely available at all the major model shops that I see online. So overall quite a nice package, quite a nice addition. I can't speak for if it's any better than the old Hasegawa kit or not, because I've never seen that one. But personally I've had a hankering to build a Hawkeye ever since one landed at RAF Lynham way back in the day, around about 2005, which I was lucky enough to be able to go and have a good look around whilst it was parked on the pan on what was quite a short visit. And having opened my eyes to what's happening in the world of Hella these days, I'm interested now to see future new releases from the brand, because this is very, very promising. So thanks very, very much for watching, and a huge thanks again to Vince for getting this out to me. That's modelsforsale.com. I do think he has actually run out of these already, but the site is always worth a look because he does have some very, very good offers on various things. Thanks again for watching, and with all of that said, I think it only remains for me to say, look after yourselves, look after each other, and Genesis out.